Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak. Now, here, I'm Honest J. Nowak. I might as well go ahead and talk about a few things relating to genres. And yes, genres. I know it's supposed to be pronounced genre, but I mean, how are people going to stop me from doing it differently? How is anyone at all going to stop me from doing it differently? Genre, who even gives a darn about pronunciation anymore? And to talk about that, it has been a little while since I covered up on phonics, but in and of itself, I do feel a lot of difference in terms of, well, my own speech as opposed to others. Now, to talk about genres, though, if they're related to music, if they're related to film, if they're related to book or novel, if they're related to anything at all, I mean, there are tons of different ways you can look at them. Genres, of course, they apply to many different things in relation to American culture and even worldwide culture, but it's just a mind blow to know that there's a huge variety of them to this very day. There are actually some mixovers of various stationary genres right there. Oh, yeah. And the way I see it today, it sounds like it's never going to stop. Lots of genres are going to keep combining themselves, whether it be film or music, primarily, but occasionally there are the benefit of the doubt of having to have others come into play. But in terms of, well, music genres, for one, because that happens to be a really big thing that I happen to show some emotion for. In terms of genres that I actually happen to like, in case no one ever got to know about me in general, then, well, there's 5 genres that I happen to like: rock, EDM, synthwave, techno, and cinematic, which basically corresponds to film-based soundtracks. But of course, there are artists and bands out there that happen to have a bit of cinematic flair to some songs of theirs. Like when Imagine Dragons released a single called Battle Cry, which supposedly fitted in with the soundtrack of Transformers Age of Extinction, and not to mention a Danish rock band with Christine Lorentzen, known as Kreosohl. I mean, they're specially known for creating rock-based songs, but occasionally they do add a lot of cinematic flair to them, and that's something I really like. I really like how they happen to add the more Hollywood-style stringed instruments to it and all that. But I mean, Kreosohl is not really the only type that happens to do so well at it. There are a few other rock bands and the like, but of course, that's probably something I will save for another episode. But I want to move on to, well, the genres that I do not like at all. If there's like 3 genres that I really hate so much, it'd be country, rap, and metal. Yes. 3 of the biggest known genres known in recent history, or at least rap and metal are trying to be the biggest genres in today's time, but yet they're failing. Though people still keep getting suckered in, and it doesn't even make sense. But, you just give it the benefit of the doubt that they probably were great at their times. Country might have been best known throughout the Wild West, aka towards the end of the 19th century, whereas rap and metal, they were great for the 1990s, but not here in the 2020s. As opposed to just rock, EDM, synthwave, and all that good stuff, they're pretty much timeless. Rock and roll, as we know, it originated as far back as the early 50s. And as for EDM, well, of course we were able to get things like alternative and that good stuff by the end of the 80s. And then, of course, synthwave just gave us the more retro style feel, and it has actually been appearing in more recent times, and it sounds awesome, in all honesty. It just does. It gives us that kind of feel that we're being taken back to the past, and I really like that feel. Concluded. But I want to go ahead and move on to film-based genres. In terms of film-based genres, there's also a pretty good variety. There's action, adventure, shootout, drama, horror, comedy. I mean, it's almost never ending, pretty much. There's always a mix-over between them as well. There are action-adventure comedies out there. There's black comedy, sitcom, stand-up com, and many other things out there. I do happen to like many of these different genres. I happen to be more familiar with the action-adventure genre, of course. That's just something that I've really grown up with as a young child. But I guess the biggest one out of all of them that happens to trump any of the others is reality. And it simply brought my attention to everything about it. But it's kind of getting a little bit complicated for me, so I guess this is probably a time where I might have to draw the line. And so in that case, I hope you do enjoy Honest J Nowak. And I also hope that you enjoyed this episode. But with many more to come, I do expect a lot new subjects to talk about. So it's going to be keeping me busy for a really long time. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.